I'm gonna call this week 5 of the JK, but in all reality, it's gonna be done over a couple of weeks. As you can see, the XJ's still here because I'm finishing prepping that for the 24 hours of Appalachia. But I'm kind of at a standstill until Dan gets here on it. So I'm going to start messing with this bumper. The winch came in, which is good. And I have these stubby caps here that are going to go on here, something like this. Or maybe like this. Yeah, like that. So you pretty much, I guess, are going to just trim it, I don't know, right here maybe. Over. I'm assuming it's got some measurements to take. And they'll eliminate all of this here. So, I'm going to do that, clean up the plastic, get that done, and then I'll probably bring the JK down here and figure out, get the winch. Winch came in, by the way, so get the winch mounted up on that thing, and then figure out how the fair lead's going to punch through here. And I can work on trying to mount that thing up. So let me get started on these caps. All right, I got these caps put on. They weren't too bad. Just trimmed about 11 inches off each side here. See what we knocked off of there. And then they just kind of go on and make a nice little stubby end to it. I get the whole thing in there. So I guess what I did too is I took some clear caulk, sealed this up, and kind of glued them on too. So next up, I guess I need to flip this here, test fit the metal inner bumper piece here, make sure that still fits. It doesn't need any trimming. So I have a feeling that's going to need trim down too. I mean, you can see where these are. So we'll just verify that and then whack off what we don't need with the grinder and try to work on getting this installed then. Probably bring the JK down here and sort of mock it up on there. So let me get this thing modified here and we'll keep going. Okay. All right, I did have to trim this. So it's trimmed down and then I shot it in just a little bit of black spray paint so it looks nice. Letting this guy dry, and then I'm going to bolt it all together with the new recovery hooks on there, and probably pull the JK down here behind Dan's Jeep, and then I can start mocking up the winch plate. So I'm going to go up and get the JK and bring it down here. Well, I got this all mocked up. I'll show you what it looks like on there once I get the winch plate back off. I see why nobody does this style bumper with a winch. Basically, if you look here, the winch sits in there fine, but this hangs down here, which is where the bumper has to occupy. Height-wise, I mean, you really only have to trim out. Well, you'd end up cutting a pretty big section. And I don't know that I'm willing to do that, honestly. I can probably build a really nice receiver mount to go from here to here and put a receiver right here and then receiver mount a winch, which is what we did on Dan's, or Dan did on his. Because the problem is all this here, pretty much from here over, would have to get cut out. And then down here, all of this bottom would have to get cut out. And that leaves like no structure to the actual bumper. So I think instead what I'm going to do, and this winch tray is fine, I'll use this for some extra parts, is I think I'm going to just take, not now, I'm going to get the bumper on so we can drive it, but I'm going to take a piece of probably box and make tabs off of this that goes over to here, and then have a piece of box that comes in and a receiver in the center, and then the winch can just literally bolt right to that. I'll set this winch up with the control box and everything up top here and have it on a receiver. Then I can use it on my Dodge too, so that's not a big deal. So I'm gonna go get this pack back away for now, and take that back off, and then I'm gonna button up at least putting this front bumper on. So it was a nice shot. I see why there's really not any good write-ups on it online. So I'll try to post this so everybody learns from my mistakes. I mean, not a big deal. Like I said, what I'll end up with kind of look like what Dan's got going on here. His is a little bit different. He had a little bit better real estate, but if you see how he took a piece of square tube across here, I'll kind of end up with the same thing. And then a winch mount, and then Harbor Freight actually sells those cradles. And I may build one, adapt one a little differently. Because what I kind of want to do on this thing, when I do that, is have a bar. I'm not looking for something very big. Just a bar to come up and run 2 additional fog lights here. Because if we do run this thing in any of the rallies, I mean, we're gonna want that. I mean, a Rubicon bumper would fix that, especially with the stubby conversion. But I like the way this looks, and a receiver mount coming out, right here would look fine. So I think that's what we'll plan on figuring out how to do then. But for right now, I'm going to get the fog lights back in, get that taken all back off, and then get it back together with the bumper on.